And then I was also going to do a bell because I promised Terry in my lecture that I would try and emulate a bell using some of the principles we've learned about bells. So let's do that. So again, we're going to start with a simple sine wave. I've already modified the envelope or the transients to be a quick attack, as we know, like a bell when you hit it real loud, real crazy right away, and then dies off over a longer period of time, which is why we have it all the way out to let's do 2 seconds about. We also know a bell is obviously going to have a lot of inharmonic content, so we're going to give some of that with the detune. Some of these little, we can also add inharmonic content by adding some noise. So this is actually, as we showed really early off in this video, adding, like that slight click. I think it's just not necessarily registering, but you can hear that slight click that is coming out here. Just adding more harmonics. So it sounds really nice and smooth right now, but we need to make it a little bit wider and whatnot. So that's why we're gonna have this set to 16, just to give it a lot more voicing. So obviously there's a lot of different resonations coming off of a bell. And then we are going to do some fun things with the filter again. So this preset right here, FPHS 12 blah 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 HL 6 minus, basically it is a preset I found that kind of does what you would expect a bell to do, which is really nice. And that is that it kind of gets down the ideas of the strike tone, the prime tone, and hum tone, which are the, you can think of the transient phases of a bell. So during the strike tone, you're going to have a lot of messy inharmonic overtones, and then the prime tone is going to die out, or the strike tone is going to die out into the prime tone, which is a little more chord-like, a little more harmonically structured. And then lastly, you'll be left with the hum tone, which is like an octave lower, just a low hum, basically sine resonation, just standing out for the last part. And so you'll see, this is laggy on my computer, unfortunately, but you'll see when I play a note that this changes over time. So as you see, when I first hit it, it's a lot of high action, and then it goes out and lets these lows really hum out, the hum note. So that is a huge portion of this sound, because without it, it's very just siney. But this is not only giving us our strike tone features such as the hum tone, it's also all these little cuts and peaks in the frequency. It's basically creating harmonics, right? Crazy amount of tiny little harmonics as you might see in a bell. But the overall structure is fading towards the lows and the hum tone from the crazy highness. As you can see, the bell's frequency spectrum doesn't, it looks like it's almost a pure tone kind of thing, but that's just because our scale is not set to pick the whole bunch of these lower present harmonics up. Let me turn things down, but if I'm boosting everything, you'll be able to see them, right? Let's turn this release up. So the hum tone, craziness, hum tone stays over, strike tone, so I think the main two tools and ideas were this of a frequency decomposer, an EQ, which shows frequency spectrum. Trumpets, we got a lot of highs, dies out over time. If we were to turn the attack up, the highs would come in quicker. If we were to turn it down, they would come in really slow, like as we did that earlier. And then we had the waveform analyzer. So yeah, this is the waveform, believe it or not. It doesn't look like the ones we've seen in class, and that's because the scale is adjusted for reading it in a way that's more ideal for audio engineers. But when I showed in the beginning, when we played a really low sine note and it was an obvious sine wave, that's what I'm doing here. I'm playing this really low, ugly note, but that is a slightly more expanded, better visualization of our wave now. Yeah. And then also, just for fun, I made a little beat with the sounds we made.